What up, everybody? It's your boy Quake, and we got the legend, G-Unit General, the one who made it happen, man. The guy straight out of Nashville. Young Buck in the building.
Hey, man, I'm here, man. It's a blessing. Still going strong too, though.
Hell yeah. Target practice, bro.
I mean it.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
I appreciate it.
You finally spoke on the chain incident with the Chapo. I was like, that's a dope ass line on the.
Fact.
I think it was U-Turn.
Yeah, hell yeah, U-Turn. That's the first record they hear when they hear that EP. Target Practice was just, basically a project that I put together, EP anyway, and was like, let me get the streets that buck. Let me let the streets and let the world know I'm okay. I've been going through so much, and so many people, have been there for me, so I feel like I owe my fans. I got more for them, but I'm like, let me give them something right now, And it really wasn't no big promotion or nothing behind this EP. It was just you woke up one morning and then see me saying I'm dropping at 12 o'clock.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
love that. As a fan, I love that surprise project.
Yeah, and I think, once as an artist, once you give it to the people and give it to the streets, they gonna make it, they gonna let you know what you're dealing with. So I'm definitely about to shoot the first video off of that project, Do Better. And like I say, if you ain't heard it, make sure you get out there and go stream me, buy me, download me, whatever. I dropped the EP before that, though.
Yeah. I forget what the project title name was, but it was in March.
The Renovations.
Yeah, in March. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ain't got that, you might want to start there in regards to the two.
And you got a lot of projects, man. That's the thing. And when I made the video on you, What Happened in Young Buck, I went over your whole career.
Yeah.
And one of the top comments was like, man, I didn't know he released this many projects. He's like, I wish the promotion would have been more. But I'm like, I mean, there's nothing more that you can. It's a lot to do because it's a lot of music that's coming out. But people are like, damn, I'm gonna go check this shit out. And I was like, yeah, man, he's got records that I was telling you about my campaign. That's one of my.
And I was shocked to even hear you speaking on records like that. Those are records really back in the day. So definitely appreciate you being a fan, because for you to even kind of say. Name certain records as an artist, I'm like, damn, I forgot about that record. Shit, you dig? So, yeah, man, it's like I said, I got a lot of music out. I think a lot of the things that I've been through and going through in life has played a part in regards to people actually really paying close attention and realizing I've been him. I'm big him. You dig? So it's like now I'm in a place where it's like, ain't no sense of talking about it. Let me just show you. You know what I mean? So, you can just expect a lot of new music, a lot of new movement. This is the first time I even sit in front of a camera doing an interview in a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? And nothing personal with no podcast. I'm definitely finna do a lot of podcasting and stuff like that. Actually, in the making of doing something with my own podcast situation as well. But yeah, man, it's just about. I think sometimes people grow their own light out of some of the things that you may go through or how it's being delivered to them through social media, and it all kind of comes back to opinions and shit like that. But I realized in the beginning, man, I was trying to fight public opinion.
Can't win, man.
Once I realized I'm never going to win, it kind of put me in a place now where I started finding peace, you know what I'm saying? Because, when you go through some of the things I've been through, things like that in regards to this music and this game and just life in itself, it'll put you in a place where, you can make some really bad decisions, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in that place, you know what I mean, where it's like, you know what, you gonna keep playing with me, you know what I'm saying? You know what type of individual I am, you know what I mean? But oh, y'all really believe this, so when you ain't really used to having to go through some of the stuff I done had to encounter and deal with, I had to make that decision, you know what I'm saying? Either I'm gonna get better or stay better, become more bitter, or I'm gonna have to get better. You know what I'm saying? So I choose better. So you know what I mean. That's like one of my favorite records on Target Practice is a record called Do Better. I choose to I choose the better route versus the bitter route. You know.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, I would even on my podcast, I would talk sometimes. I'd be like, man, I wish sometimes Buck would get out of trouble because sometimes I'm like, damn, he's getting momentum going, and then something happens.
Me.
Yeah, and I was like, and I wished I was like, because
a lot of my trouble, not to cut you off, but a lot of the trouble that I've been through has carried over through the years. So technically, to me, I ain't never been out of trouble. I'm still in trouble with an ankle monitor on right now. You know, for years, for 5 years, for being an innocent individual. You know, and that story will be told. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the truth will, you know, always win. So for me, going through some of the troubles that I've been through and realizing the things that came with the trouble, the longevity of the trouble. You would think that I've you know, had all these new different situations because you look up and constantly see me with an ankle monitor on my ankle, not knowing that this been on here for 5 years from the same situation. Buck ain't got in no trouble like that. You know, even with me recently having to go do 30 days, you know what I'm saying, on a situation where, you know, I accept my wrong. I really wasn't showing up the way I should, but, you know, I was given 30 days for basically being absent, not showing up on time and stuff like that, while being out on bond type of situation. So, you know, I be kind of trying to figure it out because in the beginning it was more like being a big fish in a small pond. But Cashville, we ain't no small pond no more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm a big fish in here with a lot of more big fishes too. You dig? So, you know, a lot of the laws and things like that's kind of tapped in with the inner city in these different counties. They have different statutes of laws, and that's what I've been dealing with. It's nothing dealing with Davidson County. I've even reached out to our mayor like, hey man, I need your help over here. Can you, you know, I know you don't mayor that county, but you know, I'm innocent and the world know I'm innocent. You know what I'm saying? So how can they do this? You know what I mean?
And people protesting.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I went to jail for 30 days and people came out and protested, you know, like how y'all gonna lock him up? How is this happening? How is he the victim in this case for being treated as if I was the actual one who, you know,
it's a system
did
where
the shooting.
They try to get you in a cycle where they can't, you know, they make sure that you're stuck in a cycle, and that's what it is, man. Meek Mill, I remember Meek Mill talking about it, and you know, he was thinking like 2007 or 8.
Facts.
Yeah, had like a probation and has been stuck with him throughout his whole career till 2017, 2018. It's like 10 years of you got to like be perfect on point.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, no, everybody's human. Somebody's gonna mess up here and there.
I mean, I get it because different states and different counties, everybody's governed different and have different laws and stuff like that. But you know, in my situation, it's just really kind of crazy because, you know, in the beginning, I was being called from quote unquote the sheriff or whatever they consider themselves out in that county where my case is at. But I was getting a call in the beginning out of a wellness check. They were basically wanting to make sure, you know, that I didn't get shot and stuff like that. And they had, you know, heard of the incident that happened type of situation. And the next day I was being charged with the gun that the female shot at me. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, you dig? So as crazy as it sounds, it's the truth, you know what I'm saying? And I think she was charged with something, and then the next thing, her charges disappeared, and she hasn't been charged in the past 5 years with this. And she shot the gun at me, so why am I even here? The lady even stated and told y'all, hey, the truth. You know, he had nothing to do with none of the guns that y'all found in here. I think it was two different weapons or whatever it was. Hell, I did not have nothing to do there. I used to live there a while ago, but you know, like I say, next thing I know, I'm looking up, I'm being charged with basically her weapons. These was her guns in her house, you know what I'm saying? Guns in her name, you know what I'm saying? So it just it even house is in her name. I'm over at her house, so it's like, man, they found marijuana in that house, man, maybe 3 to 6 months after they charged me with the guns and indicted me for an ounce of marijuana. It said it was mine, and this is this lady's house. I don't know what's in her house.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's not even
crazy.
Yeah, it's not even your house. So how
it's
can
not even my house. Not none of that. I think they had said something about my DNA being all over the gun, or man, whatever, man. But for one, I used to live there. My DNA all over the house. Y'all said y'all retrieved the guns up out of a clothes hanger. I probably had ball juice and all kind of shit in that clothes hamper, drawers and anything been in there. So, like I say, it's just, I think, I think that, the picture that you paint is what is left for a person to see, right? And I think that I've painted the picture for what it really has been, and all my shit ain't been just good. So when the picture get painted of what's not good, that's what they get. But it's been more good pictures I've painted than the bad. It's just the bad hangs on.
That's what gets the clicks, the views.
And that's what gets everybody to going. And I get it, you did, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't no saint. I'm still learning and growing, and nothing's bigger than the program, and that's God in my world. So it's like,
That's the perfect way to say it.
you can't stop God's plan. Look at me. I'm a testimony to show you keep going. Ain't no age limit on realness. You dig? These YNs out here, they doing their thing. I love seeing them. They getting money. You dig what I'm saying? It's like, watching the younger rappers and the younger artists grow and blow and do this shit. We ain't had no cell phone cameras back then in the peak of G Unit. We would have showed y'all some of the movies y'all making there. We was making them 20 years ago. You dig? So, but watching them grow and watching these young dudes doing their thing, man, that's been the motivation to me. You know what I mean? To still have that respect going through the things that I've been through. You know what I mean? We in my neighborhood right now, in my bar right now.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Doing this, you know what I'm saying?
Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it. So it's just like, this used to be a laundromat, you know what I'm saying, when I was a kid. Yeah. I grew up right across the street, boy. I lost my best friend, one of my best friends, you know what I mean, Fernando, right across the street over there in them apartments across there. But yeah, as a youngster, you dig? So life full circle. No matter where I've been, what I've been through, whatever I've achieved, I'm blessed for and I'm thankful for. But I also realize it's full circle. It all goes around the world. I done been through 3 different passports and land right back in here where I come from. You understand what I'm saying? And be able to do that is a blessing, because a lot of artists, they're not able to actually function where they from, or actually really be involved in the community from where they from and stuff like that. But I'm a little different. It's Cadsville with me. These people, I done become over accessible at times, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm less accessible. I think I'm giving everybody a break, you dig? Word.
That's real, man, because growing up, me at least, I was listening to you, so it does come full circle. Now I'm in front of you talking to you about, your life or journey, because I grew up obviously listening to you, 50, Banks, everybody in G Unit, Shady Aftermath, all that. And, those albums changed my life forever and got me inspired to do what I do. So, I appreciate you for everything that you've done throughout your career, because it's inspired me to do what I do. So it definitely comes full circle. I want to talk about, your, like how you're talking about your upbringing in Nashville. How was it?
You can hand me that water right there?
Yeah.
In that cup.
I was actually going to stop I was about to say, let me stop it.
We ain't stopping shit.
Yeah.
We got to make sure they know this shit is real.
That's real, exactly. Yeah.
Welcome to Cadsville,
bro. Appreciate that. Yeah. So I was always reading up on your story, and like you said, you've been through a lot. So talk about your upbringing in Nashville.
I mean, I come from the low income homes, moms, doing the best that she can. Didn't know who my father was growing up and shit like that, you dig? So I became a product of my environment. So I really was out here in these streets doing what I had to do to kind of survive. You know, I come from no lights, no water. You gotta go steal the people water next door. You did candles. You got candles in every room. So if the lights go out, we know the routine. It's so cold. We got the stove open. You did. See, I come from that upbringing where it wasn't. You know, we had the peanut butter off a spoon. You understand? You know, but my mom's was a working woman who was doing the best she could. You know, she just had, you know, me and my sister and custody of her sister kids, which is basically my brothers and sisters. So my house was a full house growing up, you know what I'm saying? I growed up on the north side of Nashville as far as coming up, and basically lived on every side of town, damn near every project in our city. Basically, not a mall, but pretty much, yeah. In every ghetto, I've lived on every side of town in this city, but you know, my upbringing years was from the north side and the south side for sure. But I've lived on the east, you dig, Rock City growing up. I lived out west when it was College Hills. I lived out here, you know, where we at right now on the north side on Buchanan Street is where we at, you dig, but, you know, and the south side, I'm all over there, JC. I've I've lived at East Side, South Eight, and all these different neighborhoods out here, which are the ghettos of Cashville. And that's actually how I came up with Cashville, bro.
Yeah, how'd you come up with the name?
Basically because I realized that, shit, you talk to some people, they gonna say Buck from out north. You talk to somebody, they gonna say, nah, he from out east. Or then, nah, he from out south. You know what I mean? Then I realized, shit, I'm from out this whole goddamn circle of the city, so I had to figure out a name at the time because, you know, growing up and rapping, and once I got off into that, basically it was about trying to get on, you know, in those times back then, it was just about, you know, trying to make a name for yourself with music. Because, you know, motherfucker knew who David was, the servant at the car wash, or rocking with Priest, rest in peace. But they didn't know me as a rapper. So I'm trying to establish myself as a rapper. And, you know, I would do the same thing that a lot of the youngsters doing now, you know, go and try to show my talent here and there when they had different little things going on. And first time I tell somebody I'm from Nashville, I'm in a room full of dudes, one from LA, one from New York, one from Chicago, one from Atlanta. I tell them I'm from Nashville, I get put to the back. You dig? I got tired of getting put to the back, and I knowing I'm colder than every one of y'all. You dig? But I get the last when everybody out of breath and tired. You dig? To go do my thing, cause I'm from Nashville.
That's
you
crazy,
dig?
yeah.
So
the South never really got respect like until.
But that's how we used to be. Now, shit, you say I'm from Nashville, and they want to put you on the front of the goddamn list. You dig? We the number one growing city, man, in the world. You know, it's live around here for real. You know.
Yeah, when we pulled up the buildings, they're building completely new buildings.
Everywhere you look, everywhere is gentrification. This old neighborhood that I'm from, you know, right here where we at, is being gentrified as we speak.
So how do you feel about that? Because, you know, you grew up in these neighborhoods. You know, like you said, this used to be a laundromat. Now it's yours.
I mean,
because it's history where you grew up. So like you remember a lot of things, but it's also changing as time.
Good and a bad feeling. You know, I feel good for the uplift of the community. I'm all for, you know, making things not only look better, but become better and be better type of thing. I'm against just taking these people homes, you understand, because, you know, for whatever reason, and not providing the financial needs that they need to be able to not only move to another home, but to be able to live. You know, if you're gonna take the property from them, at least, you know, offer programs that people can actually do to try to even keep their homes and stuff like that. And that's just for gentrification or worldwide. That's how I would see things. Around here, I've heard different stories, so I got kind of a different opinion of it. I'm all for the gentrification because, don't nobody want to grow up living in dirt, and we done that once around here already. So now let us see what it feel like to live, in these quote unquote neighborhoods that used to be considered, ghetto neighborhoods that's now been converted into these $1 million homes. Give us a chance to be able to move in one. Exactly. Y'all don't just build over here and come take us in. We want to live in there too. Y'all done made our neighborhood look like this, but show us how we can get in here. Don't just send us and make another ghetto somewhere else and throw us there. Because it's a repeating cycle, help change the mind frame. You'd be surprised what given an opportunity could do for a person. That's.
And shout out to you for that. Yeah. That guy that was what's the guy? I think he was homeless or something that you were like helping out.
Butch. I'm still working. If you was here a little bit later on, he'll be out here. I'm doing a big bike club. Shout out to the Lowriders. They do the 48th annual bike annual right here at my spot tonight. So this whole shit is gonna be crazy with the bikes. They one of the, first, if not one of the oldest, bike clubs out here in Cassville. So yeah, they showed me love and wanting to do that annual here both nights, tonight and tomorrow. So it's gonna it should give us something to do in the community. Yeah. Something positive, a bunch of bikers getting together from all over the world come out here and ride and congregate, different bike clubs with no bullshit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's Cassville. That's what this is. Like I was saying, them 4 sides and living on the all east side, I came up with Cassville. Because I had to let them know, hold on, y'all, when I say Danville, y'all think what y'all think is a bunch of cowboys and we got that too, but at the same time, this the streets for real, you feel me? We might be a little heavier than y'all, you know what I mean? But it's respect. It ain't no disrespect involved in it, and it ain't about who's the heaviest. But we always been that, my city. So I had to come up with something, you know what I'm saying? And Cassville was what I came up with. And we got these youngsters out here that's from my way, that's carrying the torch. A lot of them is making a lot of music. I can't get the name of them all, but if you just tap in and listen to some of this Cassville music, man, I would tell the world to tap in ASAP because we're establishing our sound. We like a mixture of everything around here. That's what kind of makes Young Buck. But shit, I'm just one that done made out of bubble. I done popped that bubble now. It's these young niggas going crazy. They got that bag out here where I'm from. You dig?
Yeah. No, you broke that curse that was going on for a fat minute, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Growing up, you're like you actually hinted at this a little bit. You're pumping gas, doing like little side hustles, cutting grass at 9.
Facts.
Stuff like that.
Facts.
Then breaking the Nashville curse, stopping the non-country acts, like every country act was blowing up, but nobody like in hip hop was really doing anything that big at that time. And what's crazy is Taylor Swift. That's an insane story. That I think it was on Vibe magazine.
Yeah.
She was like, her and her boyfriend when she was like 15, 16, would drive past her house looking at all the cars.
Hey, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, I'm trying to ride, Taylor, I'm still trying to ride by your house and look at all your cars now. I need to know which I don't know the road. You gotta let your security know and the snipers and everybody know, man. Shout out to Taylor, but she's a dope woman, man. And I've grown and learned a lot of her music by just my daughters. You know what I'm saying? I got 4 girls and 2 boys. You dig? So it's like my daughters, they be on to a lot of everything. So I love that about my kids is that they're not one genre, type of, I'll just listen to R&B. No, I'll come in, Daddy put this on. Who is that? That's Taylor. Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I'm in the club, they playing it. So I'm like, oh, where I been at? You feel me? But yeah, man, Taylor, She said, I think Shorty Wanna Ride With Me was one of her favorite records and stuff like that. And recently I just seen the artist, I think her name is Saweetie.
Yeah.
She's just did something with the Shorty Wanna Ride. She just, yeah, man, I just seen it on the ground. We gotta go check it out. She jamming too. I think the record was called Both of Them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need, hey, tap in. I need to get that remix. Here I go. You did. But yeah, I like it though. I think I jumped under the comments or something. But, I love and appreciate when artists, come grab different records that you've created and been a part of and put their twist on it in this generation. It just shows the talent in them and them understanding the history of the music too. That resonated with them at that moment to make them want to even come back and
I mean, you got a big impact, man. I think because you're you, so you don't really, you don't really understand that, like, because you're just you. You're living your life, But man, there's a huge impact, especially with Taylor. I mean, Taylor's the biggest
in the world.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
She's the big. I think she's the biggest artist between her, Drake, and Beyonce, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's just a blessing to even be able to touch somebody who's that talented and that big of a star and stuff like that. I mean, look at Jelly Roll. Coming up, Jelly Roll was out here really in the rap scene. You did really in the movement of the streets. You know what I'm saying, and really, understanding from both worlds. You know what I'm saying, because he was one that was really running through the ghettos and stuff like that, and then able to run out there in the suburbs and shit like that. So he kind of come from, I would say, where he from in Antioch. I can't say it's the suburbs by far. You know what I'm saying? And it's more of, just the ghetto too. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, even outside of where, if you put all of that to the side, but watching him grow as an artist, and what I say is him being a part of it for real and chasing rap and then finding his own lane into what he's doing with country to become one of the biggest stars that we got today, right here in the city. I'm from the city. He got one of the biggest clubs, nicest clubs on Broadway. You know how much the fucking rent is? No. I'm just saying, like, he out here balling. You dig what I'm saying? And just to see the growth in him and all the stuff that he's doing in regards to giving back too is a glow. And for me, it's motivation, because I've had the time of being, that individual from a rap side of things that, has blowed and made it, to that quote unquote worldwide level and, played out in these sold out venues, but none of my career would have happened from being exposed to the world the way I was exposed if it wasn't for G Unit. So, I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? I salute 50 for even that opportunity of giving me the opportunity to be able to produce like I have and continue to. You dig? So, we had a hell of a run. I hate things ended the way that they ended, the way how they ended.
As a fan, my dream is, and I think this is gonna happen at least.
But it is what it is. You dig?
Yeah, I think
I don't agree with. Of course, you know what I'm saying. Like you ain't. I mean, a real motherfucker. A motherfucker. I don't know what they might say or do, but me personally, I had a real genuine brotherly love that was there. You know what I'm saying? Especially for me. You know what I mean? I can't speak for nobody else. You did, but you got real brotherly love. You thinking it lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? You don't see no ending in that shit. We're gonna work through whatever it is. I got your back to the death. You know what I'm saying? That's how I applied still applied that same way. Ain't shit changed. It's just that, we just not together no more. We don't rock like that. You know what I mean? From a friendship, music, business, it's not there. I haven't heard from. I've reached out to Banks and stuff like that, and I think Banks just been kind of focused on doing whatever he doing with his life. Yayo doing whatever he doing with his life. 50 doing whatever he doing with his life, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I went down that road of trying to get us back together and getting back together and all of that shit. And, you know, shit that just didn't go the way it's playing, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Now catch me if you can, though. You did, cause I'm gone on. You did, and music has always been my strong point with the crew. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've always loved the music more than the money. It might sound crazy to some of y'all, but that's the truth because I wasn't making no motherfucking money from music in the beginning. I fell in love with just the music, and that's what I maintained my love for. I mean, the money come with the music. I've always been focused on becoming better and just, you know, making the best possible music that I can, and you know, that's been my focus in it. So when it comes to the music, it's like, you know, I'm working constantly, you know, it's my life. And of course, that's what provides, you know, to feed the babies with, you did. But at the same time, I love it so much. If they took the money away from this shit, yeah, I still got to do it because I love it. You
That's
did.
dope, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, that's dope.
Hey.
Speaking of music, I mean, you got long history with Cash Money at one point. You talked about I was blessed to run into Scarface as a child, and he told me if you don't have your home behind you,
You
ain't got nothing.
Believe that.
So when I left New Orleans, I had this mentality that I was going to get my city behind what I do.
That's true. That's facts.
What was it like? Scarface, a legend. What was it like running into Scarface?
I mean, at a young age, it just seeing his face, man, it's like seeing. To me, that's like our rap god of the South. You know what I mean? That's who I give my undivided attention to every fucking thing he say. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he on the mic, but off the mic, he just as real as he is on that motherfucker. So you can listen to every word that come out his mouth. And see, just meeting him at a young age and seeing and knowing that, you know, who he is and who I've listened to in this music and brought up on it and things like that, it matched. He's the same one. I ran into a lot of artists I came up with listening to, and then when I meet them, it's like the totally different. You know what I mean? Like, damn, homie, like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought, I ain't think you were shit, you know what I mean? You know, but I've met a few that's been exactly who they are, and Faces being one of them for sure. So, you know, like he just told me, I was at that time I meeting him. I forget how old I was. Hell, I was in my teens, man, and I was just trying to make it in the music. So I was out, you know, pushing a line with a crew of dudes back then called Totally Independent Productions, TIP, which they was real heavy dudes that was behind what we had going on, and they had me in, you know, upper echelon rooms with some of the biggest back then, you know what I mean? So coming across Face, you know, it's like, man, I'm in front of him, and I ain't really know what to say, but just be like, man, what I need to do to get on like you, man? I'm doing my thing with the music. He said, youngster, I'm gonna tell you, man, like, you know, if you ain't got your city behind you, you ain't got nothing. Focus and go get your city behind you first. I took that advice and came right back home and started learning the game. Shit, it was costing $300 to press up 1,000 CDs then. Yes. I was pressing them up myself. Damn. Sell them for $10 a piece. You dig what I'm saying? No mixing or mastering. I'm just coming straight out, straight to the CD piece. You dig? And just, you know, and lining them up, I had a cricket phone back then. You did. Put my number on the phone on the CD, you know, just in case somebody heard something they like and want to buy another one. And it started jumping like my trap phone would. At times my music phone was jumping harder than my trap phone. You did? So I knew then, hold on, fuck that trap phone. This is what I need to focus on. And that's how I really started slowing down in the streets, because I started seeing that people was really not only liking my music, but buying my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like hand to hand, and I probably, you know, made damn near, you know, 100,000 out here just chasing and selling CDs. Hell, I used to get in the car with the dope boys, man, that had, you know, motion and shit, and ride in the car, and while they catching their bites, they making them buy a CD too. You dig? I mean, you know, yeah. Facts.
Damn, that's crazy. I know you ran a little bit with Cash Money. I think you're speaking of phone numbers. You ended up calling, I think, the back of their CD or something
Yeah,
like that, where
yeah,
they came and
yeah. I was riding with
performed.
my partner, man, Lil Jimmy, man, and he the one who called the number on the back of the CD, basically. I'm just, rest in peace to Lil Jason Sanchez, you know what I'm saying? It was a crew of us back then, and these youngsters, I'm the youngest one, so we all were real young at the time, but they having real motion and real paper, So when they did call the number, motherfucker picked it up, and the first thing my partner told me, man, what y'all niggas want for a show? You feel me? Because we was a fan of the music. We riding around this motherfucker in a drop top 73 Chevy, gold everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? White goods with that slap, you did. We just ride around getting to it in our world. We fans of what we hear. And my partner called these niggas, the nigga picked up. It was Baby that picked up too. Asked them what they wanted for a show, and I forget exactly how much it was. I just know, shit, a week later, my partner told me, man, let's go. We gotta go pick them niggas up. Man. We finna go pick the hot boys up from the airport. I said, man, what? This nigga that bought these niggas out here for real. And he did. He didn't really know nothing about no venue. Shout out to McQuitty City, but that was like a spot back then, you know what I'm saying? Heavy spot, real monumental spots in Caresville, but we didn't have no promotion or nothing. Brought him down here, man. Nobody at the goddamn show. He just really wanted to meet him more than anything. And shit, when they seen how we was moving and getting down, you know what I'm saying? Baby did, they formed a bond, him and Lil Jimmy and shit. They formed a bond because he seen that we was, young and really, really having paper and really getting to the bag in a real way. And they was on their rise, you know what I'm saying? So he formed that bond. Next thing I know, I'm in the studio one day and Lil Jimmy telling me to rap for Baby. I rap for Baby called Lil Wayne in there. Lil Wayne come to the game. And when Lil Wayne had the little fro then, he was Baby Wayne. He ain't cuss or nothing, but he'll light your ass up on that mic. You did with no cuss words. This young nigga cold. To this day, Wayne a motherfucker. I watched Wayne grow, man, into the fucking lyrical beast he is, bro. But I cut for that same cloth, you know what I mean? Spent a lot of time running around each other and shit like that. And I watched him put in real work like myself and go through the things he been through and still doing this shit. But yeah, I definitely come from being around them dudes, you know what I mean, and thought my career was gonna happen with them. And it didn't, you know what I'm saying? I ended up running in the G Unit, getting my opportunity from them. Here we go.
Yeah, G Unit's the story. And when I did the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, I talked to Sean Blaze, who produced Bloodhound.
Yeah, Bloodhound.
Yeah, he told me some interesting stories. He was like, you were kind of like on the fence a little bit about if you should sign, and I think he called. I don't know if he called you or he said somebody talked to you about it, or I don't know who he talked to. Shaw Money.
Shaw Money.
Yeah,
it was
and
Shaw, for sure.
They're trying to convince like you to be like, okay, I want to completely be with G Unit,
Yeah,
of,
I didn't know really what the real business of what I was in front of was.
Shaw was like you're on the fence, and then how did the Bloodhound record eventually become 50s? Yeah, because I know it was Juvenile. You were on tour with Juvenile, running around with the bus. You guys ended up in New York, and they said it was like 2 weeks after 9/11 or something like.
Bro, recent. You know a lot of fucking shit, bro.
Appreciate it.
At least you know the truth, though.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah.
Facts. Hey, but I was in a place of when the opportunity was coming, it was like, what do I do? But I didn't question on wanting to be a part of them, but I just wanted to know what's the business and try to learn the business at a short amount of time type thing wasn't working at that time. So I took more of advantage of the opportunity than I did the business and just jumped into the situation based off of opportunity don't come twice like this. And then I believe in this dude, you know what I mean, as far as 50 and I just feel like he's gonna line me up the right way and not only help me learn the business, but a good fucking learner too. You know what I'm saying? And the way Bloodhound came about.
Was it like the whole thing was just yours?
It was my record. The Bloodhound song record that you hear on 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, that was actually just my record. It was really a record that I had with, shout out to Hot Boy Chili, because he never got his flowers out of this record, but he kind of helped come up with that hook on that record, for sure. You know, he kind of cold helped produce it because he was there with the energy and giving off the vibe. That was what he did when I created the record. And when I had that record, love the Bush Glocks, love, you know, but you don't hear me at all. Who? I ended up playing that record for Banks when I met with 50 the first time on Juvenile Bus, because 50 was coming to meet Juvenile when I met him. He didn't know me from a can of paint, and I just knew him from the music because it was like he had a name for how to rob, and you know, the nigga was like one of them live type niggas to me, like, this nigga here don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? So I was a fan pretty much when they came on the bus of knowing, okay, and then damn, this nigga shit match, you know, they come here, that nigga had vests and shit on, all of them did and shit. So, you know, me knowing what I was listening to and meeting them and seeing this circle and shit, I was like, yeah, they the real deal for sure. I just like lining myself up with the real deal with shit, you know, or motherfuckers just being who they are is the best way for me, because that's the only way I can be. And, you know, when they came in and shit, you know, 50 had went to the back of the bus with Juvie, which was a studio bus, so they back there vibing. And I just happened to be playing records in the front of the bus where Yayo and Banks was. And that's what I had played, the Bloodhound record, basically. And Banks was like, hold on, man, I gotta tell 50 to come here. So shout out to Banks, man, because Banks really made that fucking move, or let me go get 50. 50 came up there and heard the record and was like, that shit hard. Hell yeah, that shit real hard. But he didn't say nothing or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It was just that he just let me know, hell yeah, I like that motherfucker. That's crazy. He didn't give no emotion like, I need that for my album. None of that shit. It was shit. It was a couple weeks after when the offer about the record came in, because actually when we left New York, that's when we had went over to California, and shit didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? I ended up having to, you know what I'm saying, get myself back to the Ville, and it wasn't no beef or none of that shit with me and Juvie or whatever. And like I say, I'm very, you know, motherfucker gotta see me out here type nigga, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is what it is, say what you say, and I ain't gonna get on here and do all that shit, but motherfucker gotta see me though, you know what I mean? And then however it go, whether it's good or bad, then they'll see it, but motherfucker gotta see me though. You dig? Facts, you know. It's just that on that, but yeah, man, Juvie, once we left that, I left from Juvie, and then I got a call from Shy Money saying, yo, you know that record that you was playing on the bus, 50 want that on his album. And I'm like, what? Because at that time, I'm already seeing he with M and Dre and shit. Matter of fact, to be honest, you know, we really want you a part of G-Unit over here with us. And I'm like, is this a blessing out of the sky? I'm just now getting away from the situation with Juvie. Not that I was in a contractual situation. I never signed a contract with dude. I've always was just out there pushing the line from the friendship that we had and pushing an independent push for what he established with UTP Records. But I was never contractually bound to nothing. And a lot of it was on my own dollar. Of course, he did what he did with the crew, but I did a lot of, you know, my own pen and bringing the paper to the table. You did, even on the push with UTP, period. You know, me and my circle of individuals and shit like that kind of always held our own, but it was a push for me. I'm a part of UTP, these my brothers in my mind, you know what I mean? And just shit went wrong, not on no negative shit, but, you know, Jew had already let niggas know if we find opportunity anywhere else where, you know, we might want to pay some attention. And I respect the hell out of that, because it wasn't like he was trying to lead a motherfucker on. He was like, man, I'm going through my own thing, and it was respectable. So opportunity came, I'm like, man, I'm free as a bird, man. He's like, man, shit, let's do it then. I'm like, shit, let's do it. And maybe 2, 3 days later, man, I was in fucking LA, man, in a booth, writing the first record I ever recorded was the G'd Up record. I walked in the goddamn booth, man, you know, on the goddamn G Unit, Beg for Mercy album. Shit, I ain't let man get in there, you got a verse? Hell yeah. Damn. My papa never bothered to show me what it was to be a man. Man, listen, man, I look up and then the music stopped, my motherfucker said, hey, say that this way. I look up, it's Dre leaning over the goddamn board, Dr. Dre. Man, my heart was beating so goddamn fast in there, man. I said, Jesus, Lord, I done made it. I'm right here in front of the doc himself. What? To this day, man, Dre, shout out to Dre, shout out to M. You know, those you know, all I can say is, man, you know, of course I miss being amongst in the circle and shit like that around them, but at the same time, them dudes was always great, still great, gonna always be great. You know, two of my favorites individuals and shit like that. And it is what it is, man. We're gonna keep this thing rolling, though. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah. That's dope, man. Damn, I didn't know that about G'd Up because I always wanted to do the 20th anniversary for Beg
Man,
for
a lot of
Mercy.
people don't even know Eminem mixed Bloodhound.
Oh yeah. I think I learned that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Eminem is a fucking genius in real life.
He'll turn it into like a movie. The record. Like,
yeah, he's something different though. He just, you know, some people so fucking talented, man, to the point where it's just like unreal. He was one of them. So it's like, Em is one of them motherfuckers where it's like, man, listen. He could be rapping and then the next thing to see a motherfucker producing and rapping and doing it all at once and making it, and then you get to hear the shit that he's saying and doing. It's like, man, who the fuck is this? Is this God himself rapping like this? Like, you know, it's just, this shit ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? Some people might make it look easy, but it's not. He wanna make this shit look easy while he doing this shit. So yeah, I always give Em and Dre they props, you know what I mean? But Em mixed that record, man. That was the first time that kind of they was like, yo, man, before I had actually got out there with him, I had got him the Bloodhound record. So Shaw had reached at me and was like, man, you know, Em love this record. I said, what? You know, I'm right here on the block at the trap, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing. I said, what? He said, man, Em loved the record, bro. He actually gonna mix it. I said, man, what the fuck did you just tell me, bro? He's like, yeah, man, and we almost done with the contract too. So man, we're gonna need you to fly up and fly out, and man, my whole shit started from there, man. And like I say, man, it done grow me to become the young buck to the world. You know what I mean? Fact.
And like, how old were you at this time? You remember?
Shit, man. 2003. We in 2025. You do the math.
Yes. That's crazy, bro. I know you're at least in your 20s, so it's like, I know Banks is the youngest out of everybody.
I'm 44 years old, man. Yes. I ain't no young buck no more. I'm more of a Mr. Buck.
Mr. Buck. They call you Uncle?
Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Always. And they even started calling me Uncle. I'm only 30. I'm like, damn, man.
Nah, man. But shit, man, I feel like I'm getting younger and younger with this shit. It's the whole thing. Like, you know, I know a lot of people be like, man, you know, you hear some of the youngsters, they don't know who you are. It is what it is. You can't, you before their time. But at the same time, they be like, man, you cold. I ain't know this and know that. And I be like, yeah, I told you, you little young whippersnapper. You little young buck.
Yeah, they weren't even born, some people, when the records came out and
Facts,
stuff. So it's like,
facts.
It's crazy, man. But I'm glad it came full circle. So, you know, you've finished with signing with G Unit. Get Rich or Die Trying comes out. Mind you, this thing sells astronomical like levels of you know. So what do you is cross your mind? You're like, damn, this is crazy that I'm on a label that's like doing. We just did 1 million in 5 days. It was like a week, but
I mean, facts though.
Yeah.
Shit was unreal. I'm just like more like, everything happened so fast, bro. You know what I mean? It was like 50's taking off so fucking fast at the time. So much is happening, and it was like why this is happening, he started establishing us by keeping us with him as his success started to grow. So he started to get the world, kind of like, warmed up for G-Unit type shit, and then boom, it's like, now let's drop the album. So we were experiencing all of the success that was actually 50's success for a long time until we started, putting out a project and, experiencing our own reaps from our, from experiencing our own, energy and establishing ourselves as individual artists and personality and likeness. It started to come out like that once he started to put out the G-Unit albums. And then from there, that's when, you start to really feel it, because now people starting to buy off into you and hearing you for more versus than just being featured on 50's album and him blowing up. Like I say, homie know what he was doing when it came to creating what he created with G-Unit, because he definitely took us with him the whole way.
So Beg for Mercy comes out. By the way, you got one of the best verses on Poppin' Things. AKs on stage. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
True.
Yeah, what was that line? Even though, like, what was the story behind that? Because I know there's something behind that.
I mean,
AKs on the stage, like.
Yeah, we in the Bahamas with AKs on the stage. Listen, man, literally being in Jamaica, I learned. Shout out to all my Jamaicans. Some of the realest people that I ever met in my entire life is Jamaicans. Facts, being over there in Kingston and walking the streets through Kingston and watching when we landed, you know what I'm saying, at the time over there, like the episode from Belly when the kids is running and chasing the cars, or the Muhammad Ali when he landed in the country. That's how it was when we got there. Thousands and seas of people at the airport, all the way on out. It's just crazy. But just seeing the different culture out there at the time, man, it was just real for me, And I've always never knew that when Jamaicans say, boop, 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 when they hear music and shit that they like, that's just because they ain't got that motherfucker in their hand. But if they got it in their hand, they gonna respond with that. So when we're performing in Jamaica, I'm the first one to run out on the stage at that time. Vacate your home, I come to break your bones, America's nightmare, we at it again. A Desert Eagle and a Black Mac 10, they'll never know what happened when we come through. Them niggas don't want none. You feel me? So it's like, I'm walking out doing my shit, and all I seen was AKs just go up and fucking fire and Glocks and every goddamn gun you could think of, and all you could see was the flashes of the bullets from miles and miles, and I'm thinking, Lord, you gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? That anybody, man, big salute to Jamaica, because anybody could have decided to say, you know what, we shooting here, but let's just turn that motherfucker this way. But that's just the culture, man, and like I say, they show their homage and their love out there, and that's the energy that I've gotten out there. Shout out to the Marleys. They always been 100 with me, all the brothers and shit. I'm known as Buck Marley in the streets out here. You might hear me, I got a lot of different nicknames. Buck Marley is one of them.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Facts.
That's where that comes from. Okay, that's cool, dope. So you start doing, when did you know that you're working on your debut album? Because I know Beg for Mercy was like, November, and then Straight Outta Cash was August. So November 2003 to August 2004. That's like 8 months or 9 months. So
after the Beg for Mercy album came out, 50 started telling us to get our solo projects together. So basically in between that time was when I was preparing Straight Outta Cashville, and Lloyd Banks was doing Hunger for More. Word. So we kind of was creating our albums at the same time.
Yeah, you guys basically went back to back, because you dropped in June, you dropped in August.
Facts.
So that was...
we was just like, Banks over here, I'm over here. We never separated studios. It was always in one.
Yeah, you guys were even doing promo tours like together.
Exactly. So
yeah,
it was just like we was just more banks for your buck. You dig what I'm saying? We pushed that line, but we created those albums basically together. And man, that was classic work. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
God, bro.
Classic.
That was that record Thou Shall, which
Thou Shall, man, that's one of my favorite ones.
bro, that sample.
Yeah.
Dirty Swift was saying like he was
You
having.
better kill us all.
Yeah, that shit
Shit
is
is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, he was having trouble clearing that sample. He was trying to find like the original origin of it. He said, and it
Yeah.
was having like a bunch of issues
I
trying to
give
find.
Shy Money his props too, man. 50 was running the shit out of Shy Money on shit like that. But Shy he was basically over all the production and shit like that. So Shy played a big part in the production of Straight Outta Cashville and Buck the World because, we was getting CDs and shit back then. So Shy was responsible for having to get all these goddamn CDs together. I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this. And I was, give me all the CDs that ain't got no name on it. Because, everybody going for the CDs and got goddamn it, the big name producers on it. I started saying, give me the ones that ain't got nobody name on it that we don't know. Just because I'm making music off the feel of the music, not who the producer is type shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
Word.
Yeah, that's dope. So I never heard you speak on this. So during the Straight Outta Cashville, because I did a documentary on the G-Unit chain situation.
Yeah.
And Spider Loke saw it, and he had his perspective. I put everybody's perspective. D-Tay, Spider Loke, who else spoke on it? JoJo.
Yeah. Shout out
yeah.
to JoJo.
So
Chicago JoJo, right?
Yeah. So I had like all their perspectives. I was like, man, I can't find anything with Bucks speaking on it. I didn't hear nothing.
I never spoke on it.
Yeah. So I saw a Smack DVD where briefly spoke on it, but it was like nothing like information. So what? Can you speak on your side of what happened? Like how did I know with D-Tay, he ended up getting robbed outside of the club in Cabrini Greens.
Facts.
And then after that, where did this change? They're saying a story like you're trying to go through Chicago and meet, what's his name? Godfather?
I ended up running into dude, for sure.
Yeah, so tell me your side of how things went.
You basically got it in a nutshell. It's like shit happened. People thought I got robbed for the chain. It wasn't me. It was D-Tay, the D-Tay dude. And he basically ran out there, pulled up in front of a spot, and he, I guess, was flashing the chain type thing, and they showed him, oh, all right, come on in, park right here. In front of some club, he got out, supposedly they walked behind him, shot at the ground and took it off his neck type shit. It's a story I was told, but once it happened, he brought this situation back to me. I was in a hotel in Chicago. I was so fucking mad, man. I just said, you know what, go on about your business, man, and I ended up, I think, sending him back to Nashville type shit. And I went to moving through Chicago, like, let me holler at a few individuals that I know, see if they can kind of like, you know what I mean, get any kind of eyes and hands, and because I ain't paying for shit that nobody took from me. I don't believe in that type shit. So it's just like, wanted to see if I could find out if any kind of respect was there to say, hey, man, that's my shit. You know what I mean? Let me get it back type shit, which led me to JoJo and Godfather, because they was like, yo, you got to holler at this person. When I went to holler at, Godfather and shit, he was like, yo, I know what it said and how it went down, but the dude that wanted, you know what I'm saying, he wanted a piece of change, and I ended up telling him, hey, no, man, I can't pay for nothing nobody took. They was like, all right, bet type shit, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to play hero. I'm on these niggas' turfs. These niggas is bosses. They serious. They gangsters. They really, about they shit too. And I just appreciate a motherfucker at least giving me that much, because had I been a nigga that was about paying for something, I probably could have handed that little piece of change that they wanted for it, and then it would have happened that way, but I didn't. And walked on off, got back in my Sprinter van and went on about my business. Relayed the news to 50, he like, get up out of there type shit. Had to get up out of there. Once I got out of there, it was one of them situations where I was having to take the loss, because technically it was 50 shit and I had it on type. So, I was gonna wear the responsibility of it, whether I had to pay for the motherfucker or whether I had to, go through whatever. I had it, even though it was taken from a motherfucker that was with me at the time and shit. So, you know, shit went by, weeks went by, you know what I mean? And, you know, I had to pick 50 up one time at the airport, I'll say this much, you know what I mean? Individual walked past me, you know what I'm saying, and flashed me the chain, you know what I mean? They didn't speak no English. You did, you know. And I was with somebody and shit, you know, that could verify a lot of it. I choose not to say no names and shit, but I'm at the same airport there to pick 50 up when they decide to say, here you go, you know what I mean? It was a couple weeks later, you know what I mean? And I go in the bathroom, motherfucker have a goddamn phone, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yo. And then motherfucker who had it didn't know English, but the person on the phone, they did, you know what I mean? They was like, man, we love you, you know, we love you. You know, Mexicans love you. And I'm shocked because now I got this chain and 50 about to land, so I'm finna have to tell this man, you know, how I got this chain back type shit. So I'm asking, you know what I'm saying, what should I say? And we don't care what you say. You can say whatever you choose to say. I'm like, because I wanted to make sure that shit didn't happen to somebody and to get this chain back. And they was like, no, no, no. And then I'll never forget, you know, it just, you know, when how did you get it? Oh, it's simple. Just nothing comes to Chicago until the chain come back. And it came back so fast, you know what I'm saying?
That is crazy.
So when 50 landed, I basically walked up to 50 once he got in his bulletproof and jumped on the other side and was like, here, 50. He looked at me and said, what you do, man? That was his first words. What you do, man? I can't make this shit up. You know what I mean? Some of my shit be so real, motherfucker be trying to make my shit like it ain't true. Shit, I ain't got time to lie on nobody about nothing. Niggas know my get up. But yeah, nigga looked at me and said, man, what you do? I said, I ain't did nothing. He said, well, how did I say, man, listen, man, these folks brought this chain back, man, they on the phone, and 50 jumped on the phone, you know what I mean, and motherfucker, whoever he talked to or whatever it is, they just told him, you know what I'm saying, hey, man, you know, we got a lot of love for you, and, you know, the Mexicans, they love bucking and things like that, and he said, well, I want to meet you and see you. They said, fine, you just have to come down here, and that kind of killed the conversation, you did. And like I say, I ain't no hard-ass individual like that, but I give so much respect because I don't go for no disrespect. They just make this shit look good on this camera, man, but a motherfucker ain't like I say, I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, so I don't really go through a lot of that bullshit, but you know, I'm gonna protect it, though. I'm gonna protect my life, you know what I mean, by any means cause, you know what I'm saying, and my children, my family, my loved ones, so, you know. That's how I get out, but that's the story. I never done spoke on this shit. That's the true story. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy Nels, you know what I'm saying? But and somewhere down there, he may play the part somewhere in the middle of this shit, but that's how that chain came back, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did my research, and I was like, man, Buck, I can't find nothing on what Buck is saying about this. Everybody's got their side.
You got the biggest viralist goddamn moment it is right there, man. I'm about to cut this shit right there. Live on the Bushman Holiday.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Damn, that's crazy, bro. That's like, damn. I also, this is another thing that I don't know if you were in the room when this happened, because Spider Loke said that when he was calling about the chain, Game was like on the phone and was like, FG unit, like I'm gonna charge him extra.
He ain't bullshitting. He ain't lying. Keep going, cause
yeah,
that's true.
So he was saying that you were hearing that in the room.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? Cause Spider was in the room with me when the shit happened. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing negative to say about these niggas, man. These niggas really know how I get down. I'm upset and disappointed at a lot of their actions in regards to, you know, certain shit I may have encountered and had to deal with, but you know, like nigga, y'all niggas know ain't no play with me over here the way that they painted a lot of these pictures. And then, you know, Spider was a real one that was there. You know, Spider became a part of G Unit through me. You know what I'm saying? I took chains off my neck and watches off my wrist to put on him to make sure he got what he deserved and looked at how he needed to be and helped in so many ways. And in return, he ain't owe me nothing but some loyaltiness, you know what I'm saying? But I done that shit with so many different individuals. A few of them still rock around this nigga 50 now. I'm like, nigga, you ain't never owed me nothing but some loyalty, and it's the same thing I gave you. Not to say that my situation is yours, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Shit, man, I used to call you my goddamn cousin. He didn't want you around. Now all of a sudden y'all the closest thing possible. But I remember when homie wouldn't man, don't bring them niggas around me.
When Game said that though, that was like 2000. That was literally like August like 2004. So this is before Game's album even came out. Mm-hmm. This is like before, you know, anybody even knew who Game was. He was in the videos a little bit here and there in the G Unit videos.
Yeah, I think they was having little issues and shit before the actual.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly what or when and how, you know, a lot of him and 50 shit started because they had their own situations about however Game felt and shit about shit and how 50 felt about shit. I just was G Unit with me at that time. It was just like, you know, however it is, just when I made this how I'm rocking and, you know, that's what it was.
So Straight Outta Cashville drops. This is August 24th, 2004. The 20-year anniversary. I wanted to do the documentary. I was talking to Charlie P. I was like, man, I would love to do a documentary for the 20-year anniversary. But we can do it for the 25, whatever. I think that would be really, really important and dope to get the story of that album. That drops, does great numbers. You go triple platinum. So how are you feeling at this moment? You got Shorty Wanna Ride.
Shit, I'm
doing crazy.
I was young and ready to goddamn rock and roll and was rocking and rolling. You did, like, you know, at that time it was just about, you know, enjoying the fruits of your labor. I hadn't really experienced having paper at that level of money that I was getting at that time and the age I was at. So a lot of shit that I know now, had I known then, I would have did different. But, you know, I did everything I was supposed to and everything I wasn't supposed to. Bought what I wanted instead of what I needed. You dig? And end up bumping my head and shit in the end when it came time to, you know what I'm saying, pay taxes and shit like that, because I had never been a tax filing type person or none of that. I was all street. Everything was in a shoebox or in a goddamn hiding spot somewhere. You did. So, you know, it was just about you know, seeing the world too at the same time, because, you know, by that time 50 was already getting us established overseas. So, you know, I'm running overseas in all these different countries, seeing all the different, you know, ways of life and different cultures of life in different countries was just crazy. You know, it just, to this day, it's just been something that, you know, like I say, I appreciate being an artist that's made it that far to be established where I'm about to run overseas again, you know what I'm saying? I ain't been in a long time, so it's like, you know, it's like definitely looking forward to selling out a bunch of different countries over there that I'm about to hit in a minute.
That would be dope, yeah. Go to, I'm from Kosovo in Albania.
Yeah.
So I think they love you over there, man. I'm from there. They know all of G Unit from Young Buck to Banks to everybody. Yeah, it's crazy over there. So that's one.
I think we might have been to Albania back then.
You guys were in, I don't know if you were with 50 in Kosovo. That was in the Curtis run in like October 2007.
I think it might have been a show I missed though. But yeah. I remember, man.
I don't know if it was you. I think it might have been 50, Yayo, and maybe Banks. I know if Yayo was with them. 100%.
The motherfucker had already kicked me out by then.
October 2007? I was like, yeah, October 2007. I was like, that might have been.
I think it was the first time he kicked me out somewhere around there. Then the nigga come back and kick me out again. God damn it, your feet ought to be tied now, nigga.
That's funny as fuck. Yeah, speaking of that, so the whole situation that happened was because of the royalty interview, right?
Yeah.
But here's something that I've never heard anybody mention. On Hate or Love It Remix, you mentioned never seen a royalty check on your lyrics.
I did.
That was 2005.
I guess that went over everybody's head though.
Yes, I'm like, how does that?
a 7-figure nigga still ain't seen the roar at the chick.
Yeah, so you spoke on that
I was giving myself props saying, hey man, I'm a millionaire and I ain't never seen nothing to cast at that time from my ass cap or none of that shit. This money coming strictly off shows that I'm saving and whatever extra incentives 50 allowing us to make. I'm saving all of this shit. So I'm speaking this shit, but it was really that. And I think it wasn't an issue then, but like I say, it went over everybody's head.
Yeah, because I was
You know
listening, I was
what I'm
like,
saying?
how is that? That's crazy, because that happened, the whole royalty thing happened like in, what, 2000, early 2008, 2007, something like, I think that interview came out in early 2007, but yeah. Continuing on, then you drop a couple of mixtapes in between, but G-Unit as a label in like 2005 to 2006 is having its kind of issues. You know, Game has the fallout, 50's kind of looking around to sign different artists. He gets Hot Rod, Spider Loc, MOP, Mobb Deep. Tries to sign Mace, but obviously the whole Diddy situation doesn't go right with that. And then you're gearing up to drop your sophomore album. You have Hot Rod that was supposed to drop his album. Mobb Deep dropped Blood Money, which you were on that record. That was really dope. Give It To Me, I think, on that track. Yep. That beat is crazy, too.
Yeah, rest in peace to Pete, man. Yeah. I wish I could have had a little different conversation with Pete before he left, man. But salute to the Deep, Mobb Deep, for sure.
They're legends, man, in Queens. And even Havoc right now is killing it still, so shout out to him, too. So, yeah, they're doing that whole run. Mobb Deep drops Blood Money. Hot Rod's supposed to drop, but he doesn't have his record. Then Banks drops Rotten Apple, and then it's your turn. So I felt like the promo wasn't there because as a fan, I wasn't seeing you around as much as I was the first go around. Same with Banks.
Shit was starting to get rocky again around that time. That's, you know, him and Shot Money wouldn't see eye to eye, and Shot Money was left to basically manage basically me and Banks, but I had the project that was coming out around the time that him and 50 started seeing, you know, didn't see eye to eye. So whatever kind of was playing out with them was kind of affecting me too. And I think that plays a part in why the promotion didn't.
All plays a huge part.
Because 50 was like, you know what, fuck that shit. Shot was like, no, man, fuck that, bro. We gotta do what we gotta do. 50 like, man, fuck that shit. I'm rich, nigga. Book gonna be good. No, man. Nah, I'm just talking, but I don't know exactly what the full energy or whatever they had going on, but I feel like it did play a part in
100%.
In holding my project back, Buck the World, for sure.
I was talking to Charlie, and I was like, I think the three things that had the G-Unit kind of the problems with G-Unit as a label was the issues with Sha, because Sha was the one getting you guys beats, was making like the formula. The formula was going away when they had the split. Yeah. That formula was gone.
Yeah.
Then 50 going against Jimmy Iovine, the guy who's obviously the CEO of Interscope. Man. That's not the best idea. And then you got Game doing his thing too, adding in on. So it's like a perfect formula for G-Unit to have their issues with albums coming out, with promotion, with all that.
That's exactly how I think a lot of it kind of played and affected it too. Was, you know, with him and Jimmy as well. It might have not been something personal Jimmy had did to me, but the office works under Jimmy, so the promotional side of the office probably felt like, shit, he ain't right with the boss. I don't know if we're gonna run him through there or through here or through there, whatever it is. I honestly don't know. I done dealt with the punches and just kept pushing, you know, and then it got to a point where I started to speak on that royalty shit because, and then, you know, at the timing of it, I don't think 50 accepted the way that I was giving it, you know what I'm saying, even though I've already spoke on it in the record, like you said. And, you know, I was kicked out the crew and shit like that. And it's a whole long story in between that. But, you know, like I say, it's 2025, man. You know, that's the history of G-Unit, and I get it. You know, it was a beautiful era. And who knows, you know what I'm saying? Maybe motherfucker could come around and probably do business enough to put together one of these big tours. I'm watching all these other crews and shit that had, you know, separation, animosity. They still get somewhere together to try to at least go get the bag type shit. Yeah. But, you know, like I say, I'm sure the fans want to see a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell, like, I'm not opposed to no business and shit like that and get to shit, but it take more than just me, in my opinion. And you know, some dudes may have that opinion but scared to voice it. You understand? They too tough to say, you know, or don't want to make themselves seem, you know, having to face some of the lies they done told, or whatever the case may be. You know, I just feel like, you know, me, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's an era. I done moved on so much past that shit and got so much more to give to the world that it's just one of those things where, you know why God made that rear view mirror smaller than your windshield, because He wants you to be aware of what's behind you. You know, it's cool to look back, know what's back there before you get over, or whatever the case. But the big picture is what's in front of you. That's why the windshield is way bigger than that motherfucker. So I'm so far off into my windshield that I'm looking up and seeing, you know, and knowing what's behind me. But at the same time, I'm so focused on going forward, because I'm on a straight arrow, straight lane highway. You know, ain't no turns on this motherfucker right now. I ain't having to make the decision to go left or right. I'm going straight to the top. You dig? And I owe myself this shit as well as my fans and my children and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just pushing my line, making it happen, man.
Last question.
Okay.
Slow your roll. Talk about the making of that record, because that's my favorite record on Buck the World.
That's my favorite record.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite records, period. And honestly, man, that record was, man, I made that record, bro. I poured my heart out into who I am and how my life was at and where it was going, what I was going through at the time. And when I wrote that record, I wrote the entire record. So when I finished it, I remember playing it for Shy Money, and he like, man, damn. And right on that part where this can't be life we're living, 'cause I don't wanna live no more. I'm such a big fan of Linkin Park that I could just hear Chester singing that. But it was a shot in the dark because they so fucking big. And when I told Shy that's what I seen and felt, he like, it's worth a try. I know how, you know, I'll reach out and get it to him. Man, the next day, from when I gave Shy Money the record, Shy was coming in like, yo, Chester loves the fucking record, bro. And I didn't know if he was gonna sing the words that I wrote, because I wanted him to sing, you know, this is my feel of the record, this is why I want you to sing this. But he killed that record, bro, and you can hear the pain in his voice on that actual part, and it gives me chills, you know what I'm saying, like, when I speak on that record, because the shit that I was saying, this can't be life we're living, but I don't wanna live no more. To hear him say that, and then, you know, the whole suicide thing, it let me know life is real. And it's just like, I think he kind of really, really dived into that part of the record. And you just never know what some people be going through out here, you know what I mean? So I want to say rest in peace to Chester Bennett, and man, shout out to Linkin Park. Rest in peace to his family, and that was one of my favorite artists, man, that I feel like definitely gone way before his time, man. Also, I want to send out a special rest in peace to Young Noble with the Outlaws, you know. Shout out to Edie, hold your head, and rest in peace to the fallen soldiers. All the outlaws and shit that's not here, because they play a big part in my life too, but that's a whole another story. We can't tell them everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna save that. You did?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I know you were pushing them on Casual a while ago too, so that
yeah.
was dope as hell. But thank you, Buck, man. Thank you for doing this, man, sitting down, you know, getting the story out, and definitely got to do this again, man.
Let's get it, man. Diverse mentality. Y'all tap in. It's Young Buck. Run me up. I deserve this shit.
Appreciate it. Let's go. Right. If you want to see this full interview without having to wait, you can join our YouTube memberships program for just $8 a month. You get the full interview, behind the scenes footage, and no ads. If you want more, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/diverse mentality. And for $10 a month, you can not only get these full interviews immediately, but also get uncut and ad-free documentaries as well. The link is in the description for both.